Well, hi, I'm Dave Henning with the Fresh Start Podcast, fresh ideas for business and personal growth. And I'm really excited to have my guest today, Mike Lee, who is the commercial real estate broker with Colliers. Welcome, Mike.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, this is really great. I know you've got a lot of cool information on the current state of affairs in the commercial real estate market. So, how's it going in the commercial real estate market in the Silicon Valley these days?
I mean, it is quite an up and down roller coaster, right?
Yeah,
Office space is very, very not a lot of people are in office because of pandemic, right? We'll just say that. There's a
right.
lot of vacancies, and there's also a lot of opportunity. So you see it on both sides. People are trying to, get rid of their space. They're also trying to, move into smaller space, and the whole market's crazy.
Uh,
Warehouse right now is currently at nine. It's 1% vacancy. So if you're looking for warehouse space in Silicon
really?
Valley, it's 1%. Yeah, 99% occupied.
Wow, well, that's something that might be perhaps doable. I'm just thinking back real quickly to the dot bomb thing that happened years ago, where there was a lot of empty space for a while and a lot of deals going on and so forth. So yeah, the up and down is very descriptive. And let's talk about for example, leasing versus buying. What does that look like?
Yeah. So the leasing market is very well. It's very like everyone's doing leases right now, right? Because people don't want to be stuck in all these crazy, long terms. So we're looking at subleasing has been really big currently at this moment. Low commitment. A lot of them are coming pre-furnished. So it's like if you're looking for space that already has furniture in it, a lot of people are subleasing those out. The leasing market is still also really good as of today. We're working on a couple deals right now in my office for some big companies that I can't name, but
Sure, of course.
there's looking at a lot of opportunity over there.
And before we get too far down the road, tell me what area of the valley you are servicing with your brokerage.
Yeah. So we do everything. So we actually do 25% of all deals in San Francisco. Our brokerage, or our team does,
Wow.
for a tenant rep. So we do San Francisco all the way down to Morgan Hill. Um, I've gone as far over as Pleasanton, but if it's a referral from you, I got it. Anything they need.
Awesome. Yeah, I just had a friend of mine who had his son down from Pleasanton, whose son happens to be in real estate in the East Bay, and he was down here in Costa Rica visiting. So that was pretty cool. And so that's clarifies what we want to be able to picture where you have real estate will travel.
Hey, have real estate will travel. If it's recommendation from you.
Oh, you got it. You got it. It's on the way right now, man. I know a lot. I still know lots of people up there, so for sure. Um, and so, what is it that you do in your service to help business owners?
Yeah, so when it comes to business owners, we do a lot of stuff that comes down to lease negotiations. So sometimes you have a lease agreement that's coming up. So you have a lease end date. Let's say your lease ends in December, and this is September, October, and you're like, okay, I need to move into a new space, or I want to stay. A lot of people don't realize that a broker can help you renegotiate your new lease. So instead of you should be treated as if you're a new tenant coming in versus a tenant that's already been there. So like we've seen agreements that we've worked with people, and it's like, okay, so instead of you coming in currently paying $2 a square foot, and the current market is $1.50 a square foot, some people will be like, oh, well, you're already paying $2, you need to go up 3%. Well, the current market rate right now is like $1.50. So some people have been able to save money on their lease negotiations.
So, what I hear you saying is that you're able to actually help people to stay in their current lease rather than looking around for someplace else and all the hassle of moving and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, but sometimes there's better deals out there, right? Especially in office. Like if you're paying right now and you're looking for new space, there's a lot of negotiation going on, a lot of negotiation because it's vacant, a lot of vacant space. So landlords are looking for people to come into spaces right now.
So the some people want to downsize, some people want to get more space. Um, what's that look like?
I mean, so the downsize, you see a lot of downsizing right now. You see a lot of downsizing from bigger companies, right? Because now, because during the pandemic, everyone has this push for, okay, we're working remote, then we want to downsize. We're instead of paying all this money for our lease, it's trying to kind of save costs. But there's been a really big push for back to office. So basically, like you see some companies that are actually going into bigger space. So we're working with a company right now. They started out with like 3,000 square feet. They're going up to 10,000 square feet. Because like we want all of our employees back in office. We want to start moving things forward again. So they're able to get really good deals because landlords like we need a tenant and this person's willing to commit to 5 years. So what can we do to work things out?
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying because it was kind of a big deal during COVID. A lot of things were written up in Forbes and so forth about, hey, I kind of like working at home.
Yep. True.
So you've got to change people's minds about coming back to the office, especially we've got the challenges, as we all know, traffic, rush hour, all those things. Yeah. So I happen to know personally some companies that was very flexible in terms of travel time. So somebody might go into work like at 6 a.m. or something to avoid the traffic rush and just, whatever kind of thing. So does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So if what's your experience been with Colliers? How's that worked out? How did you come about connecting with Colliers? What does your group look like and opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. So I had interviewed with a couple other big real estate firms back when I was looking at Colliers. My biggest thing was I know my network and the people that are in my network, and I wanted to focus on tenant representation. So basically, I don't know if I talked about that, but basically, what that means is if you're a company looking for space, I represent you and I help you find the best space. I don't represent the landlord of the building, right? So I work with you, I help you find everything that you need, and I really like that in terms of my own network, my own personality, and things like that. Colliers has a really good occupier services team, and it was a great fit. So went through all the interviews and chatted with people on the team, and it just felt like it was a good place to be. So yeah, that's why I ended up over here.
And are you at this point looking for more agents to work with you, or where are you
Um,
at?
so we have kind of a tight knit group. It's one of those things where it's like we're never hiring, but we're always hiring. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's just one of those things.
Sounds like you enjoy your work. That's kind of the critical thing in life, isn't it?
Oh
That you
yeah,
actually enjoy. Yeah, I love real estate, but that hasn't been my forte. I like looking at it. Anything commercial, residential, whatever. So,
for sure.
what else could you tell us about? How can we help you? What would be a great way for us to connect with you, to promote you, to get people to sit down and have a coffee conversation with you somewhere?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So with me, like I'm here to serve the people that I work for, right? The companies that I work with. So it's like people are looking for space. People are looking to sublease. They have a space and they don't want to be in there anymore. And their lease agreement, they're locked in for 10 years. Like, there's
Wow.
options. There's
Yeah.
a lot of options. And I'm just here to be a resource. So if you're looking for, if you like, hey, I just want to know some market data, like what's going on in the market today. Like, just reach out, give me a call, or shoot me an email, and I'm always willing to help. And the cool thing about being on the tenant rep side is that it doesn't cost you anything, right? So I mean, it costs you a signature,
Sure,
so
sure, of
whatever that's
course.
worth.
Yeah.
But be able to. I just like the opportunity to be able to work with cool people and share advice and get them going.
If you're in a position to kind of talk about it, I know you're right in the middle. You got the big Apple campus down the street and Google down at the Googleplex, and of course they've rented half of Sunnyvale as well. And
Yeah.
so What's their perspective, if you're allowed to speak on that subject, in terms of are people coming back to the office, or is that kind of what's going
Yeah,
on?
so there's a really big push. So Google has a massive push for October 1st to get employees back in office at least 3 days a week.
Ah,
And so, with the big, I like to call them the technology titans. They kind of lead the charge for everything. So if Google says, "Hey, we're back to office," Microsoft
yeah,
says, "Hey, we're back to office,"
yeah,
Intuit, we're just going through all the companies in Mountain View,
right,
Apple, then
yeah,
then things really start to go back into place.
right.
Because they're the ones that set the trend.
Yeah, I have a good friend up in the Portland, Oregon area. He's actually in charge of all the veterans mortgages for the entire state of Oregon. And similar situation in that he basically works from home about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days a week, and goes in to his office 1 to 2 days a week. And that seems to be a relatively fair balance for people that, although, as we well know, some people just would rather not be at home with the kids and everything else that's going on, and homeschooling and all that stuff. So I don't know if
Yeah.
that period has passed yet, or what. So what's your perspective on that?
I mean, being in office, I want people to go back to office.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's funny. I was reading this article the other day, um, and so we see a lot of young people coming out of college, moving to the Bay Area, trying to go into tech, and things like that. And mentorship is extremely important when working at any
yeah,
company. And
yes.
it's the success statistic of mentorship face to face is 68% success being face to face. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
versus the opposite side, which is what, 32%. Am I right? My math's right. I think so. Yeah. So 32% of interns or new hires will fail in their career with this company due to mentorship, because it's like remote, because it's like you don't get to work next to somebody, you don't get to ask these questions, like, you're at home doing your own thing, you're distracted, whatever goes on. But when you have that mentor sitting right next to you, "Hey man, I got a question," like, they're able to really help service and get you going.
Yeah, one of my challenges working at home was being way too close to the refrigerator.
Listen, I have the exact same challenge.
Well, all that to say, yeah, it makes perfect sense that we're. I'm not a real fan of the phrase "the new normal." What the heck
Yeah,
is that? When
what the heck does that mean?
that could mean anything you want it to mean.
For sure.
Certainly. So it sounds like you're enjoying your work. You've got some challenges ahead of you, but the opportunities are abundant, and that's good news. And let me ask you, I like to have all these. I call them trick questions that.
Cool. Let's do
And
that.
see, this is, I have this little list in case I run out of questions. I can ask you these things and expand your mind. So if you could sit down with anybody that had a tremendous influence on you and your life and your career path, or anything else,
Oh, jeez.
living or no longer alive, that you could actually sit down and have lunch with. And I was reading once that John Maxwell, who I'm one of his coaches, and been a fan of John for many years. He actually had the opportunity to sit down with John Wooden, the famous coach of UCLA. And Maxwell says, if you're gonna have the opportunity to talk with somebody like that, Maxwell wrote like copious pages of notes of what to ask him. And he ended up, like, I think he stayed at John Wooden's house for like 3 days. And Wooden was very kind about it. And, the guy's like a genius, famous basketball coach. So all that to say, so if you could sit down with anybody that has had a tremendous influence on your life, whether living or no longer here, who might that be and why?
Jeez. It's a tough one. For me, um, who was that American entrepreneur? I'm trying to look it up right now as we're talking.
Sure.
Um, Let me see. Say right now.
Let me think. Warren Buffett? No.
No.
How about
I want to say Ford. No, it wasn't Ford. It was anyway, you know what? If I could sit down with anybody, actually, dead or alive, I'm really a big fan of Jay-Z. You know, just like my like
yeah,
personal, I'm a personal fan. Like growing up in the music was cool, but like seeing how he operates now, like
yes,
in the real business world, like I am such a fan of like, understanding like, how this deal feeds into this deal and this deal feeds into that deal. Like my biggest thing is I love the art of the deal, right? Like I just love that's why I'm in
yeah,
real estate. I just like the idea of doing deals. It's like, all right,
yeah,
we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then be able to do things outside of real estate.
yep.
And I just love the idea of getting things going. I feel like Jay-Z is really just like the epitome of like just doing deals all day.
That is so awesome. That's a great answer, man. Who cares about who cares about Warren Buffett or Jimmy Buffett? So, yeah, that's a great answer because you nailed it, man. Because here's a guy, made his career in the music industry, and then he evolved, and a lot of these guys like who was it that I was just watching this documentary on Michael Jordan and the Bulls, and if you it's called The Last Dance, and if you watch that, it was who was the guy that it was see I lost it. I'll think of it. Who actually coached him through this documentary? It's just totally amazing. So Jay-Z, perfect answer, my friend. So can you give me let me see if I can put in here banner for you. What would you got a phone number or an email you'd like to share on the show here?
Yeah, I can put it in the chat.
Okay, great.
There you go.
Oh, okay, there we go. Let me copy that real quick here. And we will put it in the official banner here. Make another one.
Oh, and then so the person I was thinking of was Andrew Carnegie.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, there's another guy that kind of evolved. I really like the Think and Grow Rich author who interviewed Andrew Carnegie for like 20 years. He was a newspaper reporter out of West Virginia, and he interviewed all these famous people, and there was a pattern of all these things that had the same kind of pattern of why they were successful. And Andrew Carnegie was one of those. So let's see if we can make this work here. There we go. How about that? Does that work?
Oh, I love it. There it is, right there.
There you are. Very cool. So if you've got some questions or want some insights, and if you are a business owner or you own some property or leasing some property, it's a free conversation with my good friend Mike Lee here, and we want to make sure that did I say that right? Free?
100% free.
Oh, and it's also no charge, probably. So thank you so much. And any other questions that I forgot to ask you?
No, I think we're good.
All right, we'd like to keep it short and sweet because, as you know, with everybody walking around with their cell phones, our attention span is about 7 seconds. So thank you for being with me, Mike. Appreciate you. Have a great day, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll send you some referrals.
Cool, sweet, love it. All right, thank you. Appreciate you. Have a good one.